Hi everyone, welcome back. Michael Sandler here, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever watched The Secret or heard about the law of attraction, then my next guests need almost no introduction. But if not, or if you're wondering how you actually put these laws into place, turn your life around, and generate the income you desire, then do we have the show for you. He starred in The Secret, wrote countless bestsellers, and today we'll be speaking with him about his latest and arguably greatest book, The Art of Living. Today I want clarity for you, our audience. So many people talk about the law of attraction, but oftentimes we have it backwards or flipped upside down. And so we remain stuck or perhaps even feel worse about ourselves or our circumstances that we can't attract the prosperity or happiness into our lives we desire. So today, with Bob's help, we'll do our best to make things clear, shatter some myths, work on your attraction skills, and help you hone your manifestation skills. In short, we'll work on your art of living. That, plus we'll talk about climbing Everest, post-traumatic growth, the power of cleaning floors, when passing out is a good thing, how to write a bestseller in a week, and when 135 equals 160. Well, welcome to the show, Bob. Are you ready to shine?
I'm all ready, Michael. Let's roll.
All right. Well, before we dive right into things, how in the world did you become a firefighter?
How? Well, I had some help. I was underweight. I didn't have the proper education, but I knew there was a magistrate that lived 2 doors up from my mother, and I went and asked him if he would put in a good word for me.
Yeah.
He phoned the chief of the fire department, and the next thing I knew, I was on the fire department. Now, they were hiring at the time. There was an ad in the paper where they were hiring, and so I think they probably had 14,000 applications, and they were hiring maybe 14 people.
And
So I asked this magistrate if he could do anything for me, and the next thing I knew, I was there.
Where did the courage come from to go down the street and knock on the door?
You know, I don't really know, because it was very uncharacteristic for me to do that. But I really wanted the job. It was something I thought would be just incredible. Keep in mind, I'd always worked at laboring type jobs. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, the fire department was right up there in my mind at that time. And I thought, God, if I ever get on the fire department, I would have died and gone to heaven, you know. And I loved it. It was good.
Until you met Ray, I take it.
That's right.
So how did Ray kind of dash those hopes for you?
Well, Ray Stanford was a guy that I didn't know him really well, but he was a happy guy. He always had money. And he got me to sit down and take a look at my results. Mm-hmm. I was unhappy. I was sick. I was broke. When I say I was sick, like I had headaches and colds all the time. And he said, if you'll do exactly what I tell you, I'll show you how to get anything you want. Mm-hmm. Now, I really didn't believe that, but I believed he believed it. And so I decided I would do exactly what he said. And he got me reading this book.
And I'm guessing, I can't see, but I'm betting that's a Think and Grow Rich.
That is Think and Grow Rich. Can you see it now?
I can.
It's an old book. This book, I've been reading this since 1961. 21st of October, 1961.
And what did you start to get from that book? Because I think it really shifted your mindset.
Well, it did, and it continues to shift. You see, what you've got in Think and Grow Rich, it's the essence of the very best thinking. Mm-hmm. Of 500 of the world's most successful business people. And Hill took and he winnowed the essence out of their best thinking through many years of research, and he put it into what we call the law of achievement. And then the laws of achievement was a series of books, and out of that he built the book Think and Grow Rich. It was published in 1937. And I started to read it. What did I get out of it? Well, the first thing I got out of it is that you had to know what you want, and you had to write it on a card and carry the card in your pocket and read it as often as possible every day. Now, I have carried the card in my pocket ever since it was a card. Mm-hmm. And I wrote out what I wanted. All I wanted was some money. I owed about $6,000. And in 1961, that was a fair amount of money for me. I was only earning $4,000 a year. So if I had have taken everything I earned for a year and a half to pay debts, I would have just broken even. And I kept reading the card that I had in my possession. You have to write out in the present tense, $25,000. And I thought it was absurd. I didn't even know anyone with 25,000.
Did you say,
No.
I want 25,000 or I will earn
No.
25,000?
No, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have.
Beautiful.
Yeah, present tense. I didn't understand what I was doing, but what I actually did, in retrospect, I stopped thinking of debt.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to think of earning money. Now, as odd as that may seem, I never thought of earning money before. I was thinking of how to pay the debts. And I was trying to make $1 out of 15 cents all the time. I mean, I just couldn't make it work. And when I started to think of earning money, I started to hear people talk about it. And I heard one fellow talking about it. He said, there's good money cleaning floors. I said, I'm not proud. I'll clean floors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what I started doing. But I also heard that you should do it for yourself. You shouldn't work for somebody else. And I found where I could buy a used floor machine, some buckets and mops. It would have come to $900 and some at that time.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any money. I had a difficult time borrowing money. I wouldn't have lent me money because I knew I wasn't going to pay it back. Not that I didn't want to. I just never had enough money. But I found someone who would lend me $1,000, and I bought the machine and some buckets and mops, and I got a contract to clean an office. And that's where it started for me.
And you worked, from what I understand, is every minute that you were not a firefighter, you were cleaning offices, and that didn't last so well. Well,
what I was doing, I was exhausting myself. You see, I thought the answer was, if you want to earn money, I thought you have to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
We're all programmed to think that. The actual truth is, hard work is the worst way to earn money. But I was...
Let me stop you for a quick second.
Yeah.
I want to understand that, and you just got me thinking, because we're talking about if you think debt, you stay in debt. If you think abundance, you're going to find a way to bring that in. In this case, if you're thinking hard work, you're going to be stuck in hard work, maybe.
That's exactly what it is. And hard work is not the answer to earning money. But we're told if you work hard,
Mm-hmm.
keep your nose to the grindstone, good things will happen. Well, that's not true. Hill said in that book, he said, if you are one of those people who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, Pearsall thought it's not true. He said, riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. So if you study that, you've got to demand it of yourself. You must demand it of yourself. And then you have to follow certain principles. Well, you got to learn what the principles are. Well, you're talking about the laws of the universe. So you not only have to understand the laws, you've got to move in harmony with the laws.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get, you got to give. And if you're giving to get, you're not going to get, because that's trading. You have to fall in love with the idea of putting the very best out into whatever you're doing, and good will come your way. And that's what I started to do.
So
and it started to work.
You passed out, from what I understand.
Well, I thought the answer was clean more offices. You see,
Yeah.
I didn't realize the answer was, to think I had more offices to clean than I could clean. And so I actually passed out on the street because I was exhausted. And when I woke up, there was a crowd of people around me. There was police there and ambulance. And I finally talked them out of taking me to the hospital. And I got away by myself, and I got thinking, and I realized I was on the wrong track. And I thought, this just isn't right. And it was like a little voice in my head said, if you can't clean all of them, don't clean any of them. And that just governed my thinking from then on. I got dressed up, and I got other people cleaning offices. And in less than 5 years, I was cleaning offices in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England.
From what I understand, you went from making $4,000 a year to $1 million in a year.
Well, no, I went from 4,000 to 175,000 the first year.
Yeah.
And then in under 5 years, I went to $1 million.
So what was the real shift in mindset for you there?
Well, the real shift in mindset was get somebody else working, create multiple sources of income.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you're going to start winning. And that's really what I started to do. But you see, I was living in England. I was earning over $1 million a year. I had money coming in from different cities, from people that I didn't even know, but they were working for the company that I owned. And I started to ask myself, what the heck happened? And I thought, well, I'm reading this book, Think and Grow Rich. But a lot of people had read the book and they weren't earning $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. Well, I knew I wasn't very smart, but I was earning a lot of money. So I realized that wasn't true. You didn't have to be smart to earn a lot of money. There's people who are functionally illiterate. They can neither read nor write and they're earning millions. But I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. I hadn't gone to school. I'd only gone to high school for 2 months. And we were taught if you don't go to school, you won't get a good job. I never had a good job. I owned the company. So I thought that's not true. And so I was trying to figure out what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anybody that could tell me. And so I started to study. It took me 9.5 years. And when I got the dots to connect, all I wanted to do was teach it. And that's all I've been doing ever since.
So fast forwarding from there, I'd like to, you went to the Prudential, if I understand. You're going, I want to teach people. You go to the Prudential and you said, give me 100 guys to teach. How did that work?
Well, there's quite a bit of space in between there. I left the company I was working, my own company.
Yeah.
And I moved to Chicago and I went to work with Earl Nightingale from the Nightingale Conant Corporation.
Yeah.
And so I worked there for 5 years.
And what were you doing?
Well, I was making programs. I was out selling programs, personal growth programs. Mm-hmm. I was really getting an education in the personal growth industry. Nightingale Conant were the founders of the personal growth industry as we know it today. They were the first ones to record the spoken word, put out an educational or motivation record. And I went and I worked there for 5 years. Then I left and I went on my own. And that's when I went to Prudential. And I knew how to help people improve their results. And I talked to the vice president and he said, well, what makes your company different? And I said, I do. And he said, I see. And so we were there for a while and I wasn't making much headway. And I said, look, give me 100 of your best people. Don't give me the worst, give me the best. Mm-hmm. I said, anybody can do something with the worst. I said, I want 100 of your very best people. I'll give you the seminar. I won't charge you a dime. I'll give you the material. Now, if the sales in their 100 best people don't improve, you don't have to worry about seeing me. I'll be long gone. But if the sales do improve, I don't think I'm going to have to worry about seeing you. You're going to come looking for me because I think your job is to get the sales up. And if the sales don't go up, you're not going to have a job. And he smiled and he said, well, you got that right. And so we passed the test. And I ended up working with all of 20,000 of their agents all over the world. But I went from there to Metropolitan Life to Great Eastern over in Asia. I mean, I was working around the insurance industry for a good 10 years.
I love the story you share about Don Slovan, if I pronounced that right.
No, Don Slovan, that's right.
Because he came up to you, halfway through and said, you're talking about writing $5 million. Nobody's written $5 million.
Well, yeah, there was about 450 people. You've done your homework. There was about 450 people in the room. And I told them anyone could go out that year and write $5 million in business. Mm-hmm. And at the first coffee break, Don Slovan was the guy's name. He come up and he said, Proctor, he said, did you ever sell insurance? And I said, no, I never did. He said, I didn't think so. And I said, why are you saying that? He says, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, what do you mean I don't know what I'm talking about? He said, you said if anybody in the room could write $5 million. He said, nobody in this company's ever written $5 million. The company's going to be 100 years old next year. I said, then you could be the first. And he looked at me and I said, listen, you already know how to write the $5 million. That's not your problem. Your problem is you're not doing what you know how to do. Now, if you go back in there and listen, odds are pretty good you will learn. And I'm going to show you how to change you. And when you change you, you'll write the $5 million. I said, you heard me, but you weren't listening.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, okay. And he went back and he started listening. First week in December, he had $5,200,000 worth of business on the books, and he closed the year with a little better than $6 million. But he had a whole string of people following him.
So what was the first thing? Was it changing, increasing their level of awareness? What was the first step?
Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. You've got to increase your level of awareness. See, your level of awareness dictates where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I often say, people don't earn $100,000 a year because they want 100 a year. They earn 100 a year because they're not aware of how to earn 100 a month. So it is awareness. But then you've got to take a look at your behavior and ask yourself, why am I doing this? So people are controlled by paradigms. There's a program in their subconscious mind, and it controls what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And if that paradigm doesn't shift, their results don't change. Well, that's what I was teaching them.
What's the first step to getting out of our paradigm?
Well, the first step is to be aware that you have a paradigm that's controlling you.
Mm-hmm.
The paradigm is a multitude of ideas in your subconscious mind. It's like a program in your subconscious mind that controls your behavior, which produces the results. And if you don't change the paradigm, the results that change are going to be temporary. That's why people lose tons in their lifetime that go on diets. They lose 10 pounds, gain 15. They lose 20, gain 25.
Mm-hmm.
And the paradigm keeps bringing them back to a particular point in life. Well, the paradigm is a program that controls our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. We operate like robots.
And it's not even our habits. It's someone else's we were given.
Well, we inherited, that's true. We're programmed through somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
There's genetic program, and then there's environmental programming. Yeah.
So we act like robots. We don't see what's going on. We have this idea, for instance, I want to make $100,000 a year, $100,000 a month. But then we aren't able to achieve that because our programming's still going the other direction.
Well, first of all, you've got to take a look at the law of compensation.
Mm-hmm.
The law of compensation states the amount of money you earn is always going to be in direct ratio to the need for what you do,
Yep.
your ability to do it,
Yep.
and the difficulty there is in replacing you. The need for what you do. If the need for what you do is not great, there's all kinds of people who do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
The odds of earning a lot of money, even if you're good at it, is rather slim. If the need for what you do is great, the need for what I do is enormous. Everyone in the world, I don't care where you are, I don't care what the culture, everyone wants to improve the quality of their life. Mm-hmm. That's inherent within the human being. And there's very few people know how to do that. So there's a tremendous need for what I do. Number two is your ability to do it. I've become very good at it. Mm-hmm. Because I've spent over 50 years perfecting it, studying it, understanding it, acting on it. So I'm very difficult to replace, so my income goes up. You've not only got to find something where there's a great need, then you've got to get very good at it. There can be a great need. If you're not very good, you're not going to do very well. So you've got to take the law of compensation into consideration. And then you've got to start observing your own behavior. And you will see that there's a pattern in your behavior. And that pattern starts when you wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. You probably wake up about the same time every day. If you sleep in, you always sleep in. If you're late, you're always late. There's a habitual program that's being expressed. So you watch what you do. And there's a pattern there. If you're living with someone, you see their patterns. You see them very quickly before you see your own. Yeah. And you've got to realize that these patterns that we're involved in, these behavioral patterns, are producing the results in our life. Now, I got Prudential to raise their sales by hundreds of millions of dollars by doing two things. One, they had to be hand to hand, skin to skin, with a very live prospect before 9 a.m. Number two, they had to ask every person they met to purchase a minimum of $100,000 worth of insurance. Now, that was back around 1973, when $100,000 was a lot more than it is today. And I said, if you just do those two things, you don't have to change anything else. Their sales went up by millions. Now, prior to that, they were hardly ever in front of a prospect before 9 a.m. anywhere in the company. And they hardly ever asked anybody to buy $100,000 worth of insurance. So they were selling more $100,000 policies in every office in a week than they'd previously been selling in 6 months.
This sounds like a combination of increasing a level of awareness or what's possible, sort of like Sir Edmund Hillary climbing to the top of Everest, and also discipline. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it does. You need the discipline to form the new habits. Mm-hmm. And discipline is something that, again, most people don't understand. We're raised with discipline. We think discipline is generally a form of punishment in most people's mind. This discipline is really the ability to give ourselves a command and then follow it. When you say a person's disciplined, they're a disciplined individual. They decide what they're going to do, and then they discipline themselves to do it. So if they say they're going to do something, you know damn well they're going to do it. Mm-hmm. Well, you've got to develop that kind of discipline in your life. This I will do. And that's what I teach them. They've got to tell themselves, I will be in front of a prospect before 9 a.m. every morning. And it's not an easy thing to do because their body was probably in the habit of clutching a coffee pot somewhere around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. And they had to stop doing that and start to do the new thing. See, when you go to make a new habit, you got to break an old habit. Nature abhors a vacuum. You got to create a space for the good that you desire.
So where do you place your focus then? On the new habit, I would assume.
On the new habit.
So let's fast forward for there. You say something that is to think our dreams into reality. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, The Secret led a lot of people astray.
Yeah.
I think The Secret did a phenomenal job. Rhonda Byrne deserves everything she got from it. But it also left a lot of people confused. It left people with the idea that they could have anything they want. And that's not true. You can't have anything you want. Wants are in our conscious mind. That's where our thoughts are, in our conscious mind. So we don't become what we think about. Solomon had it right. He says, as a person thinketh in their heart. You've got to take the want and turn it into a desire. You've got to plant it in your heart of hearts, in your subjective mind, the subconscious mind. In other words, you've got to internalize the idea.
Just means believing it before we see it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't believe it before you see it, you're never going to see it. You've got to internalize it, and you've got to live with it. You've got to know you've already got it intellectually and emotionally, and it's only a period of time till it manifests in form.
You had somebody at one of your talks, Jennifer, who wrote a bestseller, it sounds like in a week, I believe.
Yeah.
How did you help her to flip that
Managing
switch
motherhood.
To believe it?
Well, Jennifer spent a week with us in a matrix program. It's a program that's fairly expensive and it's very intensive. Mm-hmm. We have people come from all over the world to that program. And she came, and what we really teach you is a lot about yourself. And you really understand the idea of a paradigm. In fact, the next book's coming out. It's called Paradigm Shift. And it's really focusing on that. And she started to see what she had to do to change, and she had to have a goal that really inspired her. But she gained a lot of understanding. You know, it was a matter of education, direction.
You talk about something from Michael Beckwith, post-traumatic growth. And a lot of us are stuck, certainly on the other side of post-trauma. what is it, and how do we use it?
Well, I'm not really familiar with Michael's concept in post-traumatic growth. I did learn something very valuable from Michael. He's a good friend.
Yeah.
And he said, in any situation, regardless of the situation, there's three things you've got to do. One, you look at it and say, it is what it is. Accept it.
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to control you or you're going to control it. Number two, harvest the good. Just look for the good in the situation. And number three, forgive all the rest. Forgive means to let go of, completely abandon. So in every situation, doesn't matter what it looks like, it is what it is, accept it. Harvest the good. There's good in it. The more you look for, the more you're going to find. Could be a terrible looking situation. If you look for the good in it, you're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, forgive all the rest. Let all the rest go. Just release it. Let it go.
I love that. So, in fact, in your book, you talk about having, I believe it was an aorta heart repair, and accepting it is what it is. And then you were back doing what you were doing what you love, in no time at all.
So, well, that was a big deal. I was in Los Angeles. I was working Saturday and or Sunday,
mm-hmm.
and Sunday afternoon I wasn't feeling very good, and so a doctor came in and gave me a B12 shot, and then he told me to drop by his office in the morning. I went in and he checked me over and he said, "You've got a problem." He sent me over to a cardiologist at Cedars-Sinai, and like that, I was in the hospital with open heart surgery.
Wow.
And they had to replace the aortic valve. There had been bacteria on it. They don't know how it happened. I don't know how it happened. But I was on the road 90 days. I was out, that was 5 years ago.
What was your mindset that helped you get back on the road so quickly?
Well, oddly enough, I spoke on the Sunday. Michael Beckwith was speaking on the Saturday. There was a group of us there. And it is what it is, accept it. That's what Michael was teaching on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I wrote it down. I thought, that is excellent. I just treated the situation at the hospital. It is what it is, accept it. Harvest the good. Forgive all the rest. I had been raised to believe what Michael Gerber said, if your business requires your presence, you don't have a business, you have a job. So I thought, well, I'm going to find out if I have a business or not, because I'm grounded. I'm not going to be able to work for next 90 days. My business kept on going, nothing happened. Sandy Gallagher, my business partner, did a phenomenal job. She runs the company anyway. That was the good in it. And I forgive, I let all the rest go. I had a great attitude. And the doctor told me, I told the doctor one time, I said, this is the best hospital in the world. Everybody's so positive. He says, that's because you are.
A reflection of what you see.
Yeah.
I love it. You're talking here about the law of thinking, and there's a quote, I'm not sure if it's yours or not. It's setting a goal you can achieve is like dying. It's not inspiring. You won't get much support from others. You'll probably quit.
Well, that sounds like something I'd say, and I think it came from a seminar, and it's true. You see, there's no inspiration in goals you know you can do or you think you can do. Mm-hmm. And that's where most people go. They set a goal to do what they know they can do. There's no growth. You're going sideways. You've been there, you've done that. Goals are not to get. Goals are to grow. That's the purpose of a goal, is to bring the best out of yourself. So if we go from what we know we can do to what we think we can do, mm-hmm. Well, that's where you're thinking, if she does this, and if he does that, and if this money comes in from here, and if that comes in from there, then I could accomplish this goal.
Yep.
Well, that's doing what you think you can do. There's no inspiration in that. It's not a win-win concept. But when you go after what you want, you have no idea how you're going to get it, but you want it.
Yes.
Well, when you understand that if you will internalize what you want, and feed it, it turns into a desire. And Waddell says desire is the effort of the unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression without through your action. You've got to go after things. You have absolutely no idea how you can get them, but you want them. You really want it.
So this is confusing to me. We really want something. We have to go after it. We write it down. We want it with all of our hearts. We don't know how to bring it about, sort of like in The Secret, going from one coast to the other coast.
Yeah.
Where in the world, after we've switched that paradigm and said, this is possible, I just don't know how, but it's possible, where do we go from there?
You just think of how to do it. Look at, I think I can show you here.
Yeah, and for those who are listening, I'll try to describe it.
Well, I think you'll be able to see that.
Okay, there's an X at the bottom, a star at the top.
The X is at the bottom left-hand side of a page. The star is at the right top side of the page, so they're kitty corner. Now, let this line where the X is represent a frequency of thought.
Okay.
That's a frequency of thought.
So there's a lower frequency and a higher frequency of thought.
Well, there's a zillion frequencies.
Yeah.
If a person could imagine a lined page of paper, each line represents a level of vibration or a frequency.
Okay.
Well, you're living on a particular frequency right now. The thoughts you're thinking control the frequency you're on. Your body, your mind and body is in a vibration.
Yeah.
And you're operating on a specific frequency. And the only thing you can attract is that which on that frequency. Now, if we raise the bar and we say, and I'm going up here.
Yep.
That's where I want to go. I don't know how to get there. We've got to understand there is a place. And the second we make a decision, I'm going to do that, we flip our brain onto that frequency. And then the only thing we start thinking are thoughts that are on that frequency, and they're the thoughts we need to think to get to where we're going. So the way will be shown. You're told, seek ye first this kingdom in its righteousness. Well, you're told to look within for the kingdom. In its righteousness, it operates by law, and all these things will be given to us. You will attract everything to you, and you attract it by law, because you're in harmony with it. It's almost like you're on an AM frequency, where you are right now, and the star is on the FM frequency. You're never going to get the music that's on the FM frequency as long as you stay on the AM frequency. You got to move on to a higher frequency. You got to change the dial. You got to change your thinking. And as you flip your brain onto that higher frequency, your thoughts start to change. You start to change. The people that you attract into your life change. Everything changes. The trick is to move on to that higher frequency and stay on it. You've got to see yourself already there.
How do we do that? Is it meditation? Is it mantras?
No.
Is it practice?
Well, it's all of those things, but it starts off, it's the imagination. The imagination is the most marvelous, Hill said, it's the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world's ever known. With your imagination, you can go into the future. With your imagination, you can already be where you want to be. I think Neville said the only problem we've got is weakness of attention and poverty of imagination.
And you talk
We've got to see ourselves where we want to be. We've got to mentally go there and bring the future into the present. And then you've got to act like you've already got it. You got to walk like you've got it, talk like you've got it, feel like you've got it. And in a period of time, you're going to have it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what is the law of success?
Well, the law of success is a beautiful law. It's understanding that, first, I think you take Earl Nightingale's definition of success, the best I ever heard. He said it's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Well, you start understanding that everything operates by law, and you're going to keep growing. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It has nothing to do with money unless money is the goal. Let's suppose you're worth $5 million. You've got a goal of building an estate of $10 million. and you're progressively moving in that direction, you're a successful person. Or you could be a student in school with a C and D average and you're working towards an A and B. And if you're progressively moving in that direction, you're a successful person. Each person is equally as successful as the other. One's after grades in school and the other's after millions. But they're both moving toward a predetermined objective. And that's what success is all about. Well, the law of success has you staying on that track, continually moving onto a higher frequency. We don't set goals to get, we set goals to grow. To reach for
I think that's
something that we
important for
want.
people to get.
Well, it's very important, very important. Because everything you get at the time of your death is going to belong to somebody else. You never own anything. You're merely a custodian. You have it to use while you're here. You can enjoy it and share it, but you never own it. But what you are is yours forever. And you've got to understand, if nothing's created or destroyed, no science, no theology tell us that, that means that when you move out of this body, you just keep on with your spiritual journey.
Which is why you talk about wanting to make a lot of money, not for making money, but for instance, opening schools in Africa and doing other things that are helping people.
Well, yeah, Sandy Gallagher and I, my partner, we have a goal. We work with Cynthia Kersey in the Unstoppable Foundation, and who's building schools in Africa, and she's also going into India. In fact, she's in India right now. But she does a lot of work in Kenya building schools.
Yeah.
It costs approximately $25,000 to build a school. Now, the school houses a lot of kids. You're talking about a few hundred kids, and they get nourishing food, they get clean water, and an education. For $25,000, you can do that. Well, we build a new school every 2.5 weeks right now.
Wow.
Our goal is to build one every day. Now, that would take $9 million, which is not that much money. So we have to earn an extra $9 million every year to do that, and that's what we're working on. So we need more money all the time because we're doing something with it. It's not to get it and hold it. What the hell is? It's no good to you. Money is an idea.
Can you explain that to people for a second? Because if people grab this one concept, if nothing else, it changes everything. That money is not something that we just put in the bank and lock it up for that proverbial rainy day.
Well, you see, the crazy part is we think that's a good place to put money. I think a bank is a terrible place to put money. You get very poor interest rate. There's no return on it. Earning money is an income earning strategy. You put money to work. The bank love you giving them your money because they put it to work. They put it to work at maybe 10 or 11% interest, and they pay you maybe 1.5%. So they're earning money. They're not getting you to earn money. Money is an instrument, and money is meant to circulate. Without circulation, you're over. The blood stops circulating, you're finished. Circulation is one of the laws of the universe. Well, money is meant to circulate. It comes to us and through us. You want to get it working. Get doing something with it. I'm not interested in stacking up money and having a whole pile of money. I want to earn a lot of money, but I want to spend a lot of money too. I've got a lot of places to put it.
Yep.
Money is an instrument that enables you to do good far beyond your own physical presence.
Bob, I'm looking at you. You're what, 85 years of age now?
No, try it. 81. I'll
81.
be 82 on my next birthday.
I apologize. 81, 82. You have the vitality of somebody and the vitality of somebody in their 40s and 50s. You have the conviction of somebody in their 20s. What is your secret for this?
Well, age is really an interesting thing. Like the mind knows nothing about age. How old would you be if you forgot your age? I never think. First of all, I think the way you stay young is you don't hang around old people. Just don't hang around old people. Yeah. I don't spend hardly any time with old people. I spend all kinds of time with young people, 20s, 30s, 40s, that's it. All the people in our company are young, they're vibrant. And I'm one of them. I have no intentions of slowing down. In fact, I have every intention of speeding up and going faster. See, listen, if all the energy in the universe is evenly present in all places at the same time, all the energy in the universe has to be within you. So it's not a matter of getting energy. Where does she get all the energy? Where does he get all the energy? Nobody gets it. They've already got it. You want to release it. And the triggering mechanism to release energy is desire. When you got a strong desire to do something, you'll always have the energy to do it. That's why Emerson says, do the thing, you'll get the energy to do the thing.
That makes sense. Makes sense. A few wrap-up questions here, let you go, which is, one is something that a lot of people are asking, which is, I'm trying to follow the law of attraction. I'm trying to listen to what's in The Secret. What am I doing wrong, though the money isn't coming into my life?
Well, ask yourself what you're doing wrong, and you're saying the money's not coming into my life.
I see the trap.
There it is.
You're focusing on the wrong thing.
You're focusing on what you can't see. You're focusing on what you can see, and you're not able to see what you can't see. In U Square, Price Pritchett put it very well. He said, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. You've got to understand what the law of attraction is about. The law of attraction is a secondary law. It's not a primary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. The law of vibration decrees everything vibrates. There's a bottle with water in it.
Yep.
We call the bottle, it's plastic. The plastic has paper around it. The bottle has water in it. Water is energy. The plastic is energy. The paper is energy. If I put this in a real good fire, I would reduce every bit of it to one state. Energy. Energy will change energy into energy. Well, we've got to understand that there's a power flowing into our consciousness. When it flows into our consciousness, we think. And the thoughts we think, then we internalize. That energy that's flowing into your consciousness is neither positive or negative. It just is. You make it what it is. And as you internalize it, that dictates what vibration you're going to be in. It controls how you feel. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The vibration that you move into dictates what you're going to attract. It's the thoughts internalized that dictate the frequency you're on. Now, if you're thinking, the money's just not coming in, what am I doing wrong? You're thinking, I'm doing something wrong. The money's not coming in. That's like saying, don't let the money come in.
And that's a problem.
I keep repeating, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. And it does.
I love it. So where can people go to find out more and to find your book?
They can go to artoflivingbook.com, artoflivingbook.com. And that'll lead them to where they want to go. Or just go bobproctor.com. But if you go to artoflivingbook.com, there's a picture of it.
Beautiful.
You'll see. Artoflivingbook.com.
And a question we like to ask all of our guests as we wrap things up is, what brings you personally the greatest happiness, or what I call the woohoo factor?
Oh, seeing people get this. I love it. When I'm in a seminar, I can feel it when a person gets it, when they really understand it. And it's a beautiful thing. I love sharing it. I don't think you enjoy anything till you share it. When I learned why I was doing what I was doing, all I wanted to do was share it with other people. And I love it. I love to watch people start to get it.
Do we all need a mentor or a coach, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I owe all the success that I enjoy to my coach. Yeah.
Any last words of wisdom for people?
Yeah, take a sheet of paper, a clean sheet of paper. In the bottom left-hand corner, put in X and today's date.
Yep.
In the upper right-hand corner, put a star and date it a year from today. Then ask yourself, what am I going to do between the X and the star? What do I really want to accomplish? Start to see yourself already there and live as if you've already got it.
Good homework. I love it.
You're looking at some of the best information that you'll ever find is in The Art of Living. It's the essence of what I've been studying for 55 years.
I've read a lot of your work. I love it. I think as someone who hears, a guest a day, it challenges me to think about it on a more energetic level, just not so much in a radical way, but it brings it all together.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful for that.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Bob.
Thank you, Michael.
For everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, read and live the art of living, and shine bright. Woohoo!
Thank you, Michael.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!